Hello everyone, welcome back to ESL Pro League Season 5. It's been a little bit of a stumble, we've had a bit of a break, it's been quiet around here, but we're finally back to bring the ruckus. This time around, one of the loudest of them all, it is Harry joining me on this desk. Very happy to have you here. How have you been? How are you feeling about today?
Yeah, no, I've been fantastic. You know, we had a week kind of hiatus away from it, but now we are back bringing the pain, and you know, what a fantastic game for us to head into this. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to it. We're kind of not seeing maybe the height, but we're seeing two teams that definitely have a lot invested into today's games.
It's true. They've got a lot sort of behind them they need to bring and display in today's matchup. So let me have a look actually at that schedule as well, so you guys at home know what's going on, not only here but also on the main stream. Obviously though, over on that secondary stream, 9:20. Unfortunately, we only had the one game today, but we're hoping it's going to make up for the fact that it could be an interesting one. Obviously, you've got Kinguin, the team that worked their way through. They fought tooth and nail to make it here, Harry, and now they're looking like they're starting to let it slip. They're in that relegation zone, and up against EnVy, this could sell a really sour feat for them.
Yeah, I mean, EnVy currently find themselves kind of middle of the board, and I feel like now would be a great time, to switch things up and see, where kind of the rest of the teams are in the standings. But yeah, as we know, EnVy, they're going to find themselves in the middle. Kinguin, they're right down at the bottom, and after they fought so hard to make their way out through the Mountain Dew League, now potentially could be relegated all the way back down once again.
That's true. So let's take a look at those overarching standings as well, see where everyone else is, and just work our way through it. I mean, if you just go through yourself, give me a couple of top picks here. I mean, just looking at it though off the back, obviously, as we touched on, there is Kinguin in that 14th spot. I mean, that is the relegation zone, but that's the thing. That's really quite a sour feat for them overall, because as we said, they took so long to get here. Now it's not looking good. You think back as well, only a few weeks ago, that was when Ninja Pyjamas were sitting. And now, since the addition of Draken, they have torn their way up. They're now in 8th place. This leaderboard has shifted massively in the last few weeks of Pro League. Yeah,
definitely so. And I mean, the other team we need to be keeping an eye on tonight are EnVyUs. And, one thing I really want to look at from them is if they pick both of these up, they can suddenly find themselves propelled up into the top 4. Kind of joining those teams that are on the cusp or, could be knocked out, back down out of the, top spot. But still, they're going to find themselves in a great spot if they can pick these up. And going into this up against Kinguin, the team that's currently bottom, that's got to be a bit of a morale boost for them. And, definitely not short of the possibility of rising on up.
It's true, there's a lot on the line here for both of these teams. I mean, ideally, Kinguin, they just want to give themselves something. They're not even going to really get themselves into a good spot, though, if they pick up these wins here overall. But it's still at least something to grasp onto. We are working our way sort of towards the ends now of Pro League. We're getting towards the closer. And we just need to see something else coming out. And talking about where Kinguin came from, obviously the Mountain Dew League, that's where they fought their way through. They rose through the ranks, and you can too head over there and try and climb your way up. Obviously, it's coming towards the end of that as well. The finals will be held very soon. They're going to be awesome to catch out. Obviously, you casted previous season and some of this season, I believe. So
yeah, it's been a great series of games across the board. The finals, like you say, are going to be occurring soon. I believe that's going on here in the UK, which is going to be great. But yeah, I'm very excited to see who does rise up. Bigger in a great spot right now. There's a lot going on, and it is going to be awesome. So shout out to Mountain Dew for that.
Loves it. Big fan. He was having a couple before the stream, obviously. Gets him nice and lubed up for the game.
Sugar rush.
It's true. That's what we all love. And guys, as well, if unfortunately you are unable to catch today's stream, you're busy halfway through, you're not going to be able to watch both matches. When you head over to the YouTube channel, where you can subscribe and keep up to date with everything that's going to be going on. Obviously, the VODs will be posted on there. You can catch us whenever we're live. There's going to be lots of content on there, so you might as well subscribe, right? Why not? And whilst you're there, I mean, Harry, what should they be doing whilst they're on that channel?
They got to ring the bell, because without it, you won't know when we're live, and you might miss out on some of the action, even while you are on your computer doing nothing.
That's true indeed. Now, one of the things you shouldn't miss out on, though, is going to be the Pay Save Guide. Last week's top 5. Now, obviously, we weren't there last week. We had a bit of a breakaway. We gave you some downtime. But some of those frags from the week before, they have been locked in now. Everyone's looked through. They found the best of the best. We want to highlight those to you now. So when you have a look through, get yourself a little bit more energetic for today's games.
Neo lurks in the smoke. He knows the bomb's ticking away fast. He knows someone's trying to defuse. Does he have time for this, though? Here's the defuse. Gets stopped. Neo's in there. He gets himself 2. One more for Neo, and that is the round for Virtus Pro.
You're going to see a bit more of an aggressive push comes in, but he gets the quick scope, and he got Dizzy jumping, so he's able to follow through into the second, and then a no scope as well on a CJ. Oh my god, and then he hits ZQK as well.
Unsure what's going their way, but RPK adjusts so well on the angle. Going to swing out and find Pasha, but now the short play comes in. There's still players in towards, but the spray is so good from RPK. He has decided everything on towards this, and that's his ace as well.
Flamey's down. Guardian's lost his wingman now. He needs to do it on his own. 2 very low health opponents on the map. One goes down, now looking for one more. Guardian makes it happen through the top of the box.
As he can see the smoke starting to come in. So he's the master, and there's the first headshot, looking for more.
He's very, very good with this gun. Knows they're going to be close to freeze. The flash means they've got to be there. Lines told you, Matt. Shots. He's got number 3. Bomb down as well. There's the 4th. Nico nearly goes for a Deagle ace.
Hope you guys are feeling ready for the games after that. Some fantastic clips to try and get your blood flowing a little bit as we work our way into it. And obviously, it's a new month, Harry. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. And that means the fan vote's back. Get on over there. Get your votes locked in. Who are your favourite players? I mean, is it Nico after that insane Deagle play? Obviously, a Danish bit of demolition coming out there. What we love to see. Fantastic stuff on the line. Who's some of your favourite players, Harry?
Right now, probably Nico. I hate that. I mean, I don't hate
the Danish Nico or Nico.
No, Nico, the Bosnian Nico, the man himself. He's been just tearing things apart, and he's phenomenal. That's who would get my vote. Who would get yours?
Oh,
that's a tricky one.
It is a bit of a tricky one. I'm going to go for one of the old guard. Obviously, he might not have been having the best show recently, but I've got to give it to Guardian actually. Someone that
I mean that was my second place. That was my second place choice. So there you go. That's us.
That's true. That's us. That's us. But this is you, and this is the game, actually, not you. This is what we're going to be working our way through. It is going to be the matchup, obviously, between Team EnVyUs going up against Team Kinguin. Kinguin, they've been struggling a little bit, you know. As we touched on, they've took so much effort to finally work their way in. They're into Pro League. They're giving it their all. I mean, first couple of games went their way. They actually did pick up a couple of results, right? They looked good. There was a few surprises there. Then they sort of hit a nail in the wall and just got so lost. They lost track of flow. They look like they've just slowed down so much recently. Yeah. What have you sort of noticed with that?
I mean, that's kind of the real problem, right? As we came into the year, they were looking great. They were in top form. They managed to make it out of Mountain Dew League. They're firing on all cylinders. They make their way into the Pro League. And like you said, you know, we see things start off, you know, fairly decently from their point of view. And then things very quickly go downhill. Now they find themselves bottom of the board, especially when it kind of comes down to these couple of maps. Inferno is one that's a bit up in the air. But I mean, you know, one thing I think it is just kind of worth mentioning is Kinguin's whole kind of status and where they are. And to me, they're very similar to a team like HR, where they're kind of that bridge the gap team, where they're like T2, T1. They play kind of in both sets of competitions. They do very well. And they can cause upsets against some of the best teams in the world, as we saw, you know, recently where they made it through to the semi-finals, losing out to FaZe in the StarLadder I-League, who then went on to win, obviously. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, they can do well. It's the exact same here now with Kinguin, maybe just kind of down a tier, if you could imagine that. They still play in a lot of these kind of tier 3 competitions, and even then they lose to kind of teams that maybe people wouldn't have heard of watching at home. Teams like Vega Squadron, teams like Epsilon have caused a lot of upsets for them, and they're teams that are participating down in the Mountain Dew League. So, you know, the fact that they're already kind of losing to them does bring and cause a lot of question as to their relevance within the Pro League. So, yeah, there is a lot on the line for them.
Because that's the thing, you've got to look at it, you know, if they're unable to beat opponents that technically they are on a level ahead of, they should easily be working their way through. So when you have those results, it provides a benchmark where you at home are just sort of like, how can we work off this? It doesn't look like they're at that same level. And I mean, coming into it, as we said at the beginning of Pro League, you look like, all right, actually they've got a lot behind them. It seems like structure's going well. Across the board as well, everyone was actually playing phenomenally. It feels like these past few weeks we've seen more of a slowdown individually. Obviously, I mean, we were talking about this beforehand, and we've always said that Miku's kind of been one of those shining lights for the side, right? But you can't look aside players like Ral and Sparrow. They've always done so much work as well. Yeah. And they were at the beginning of the season. Everyone was hitting their shots. Sparrow looked unstoppable with the AWP. He was creating so many actual openers that allowed them to play very effectively on their T side. Since now, though, it seems like everyone's kind of slowed down. Everyone looks a little bit sluggish. They're unable to get those openers. And that T-side weakness seems to have been one of the bigger factors as well. So it's quite scary. And obviously, going up against EnVyUs coming into this, it's also not going to be a forgiving opponent, is it, really?
No, not at all. You know, EnVyUs, of course, they do have a fair bit to prove. That was, of course, after kind of all the French rosters got decimated. We saw the French Dream Team, you know, kind of start to unfold, and then what was left in amongst all the ashes, we just kind of got scraping bottom of the barrel, get put into Envy, and actually they've kind of been tearing up the competition, providing some very interesting results. Scream's been out to prove that he can wreak some havoc. And, you know, RPK, XMS, they've also been having some standout performances. Sixer, however, has been the one that I really wanted to focus on. Ever since, you know, he was kind of brought into the scene, he was one that influenced a lot of these teams very positively in terms of his supporting role. But now, even when we look at him on the AWP, especially on Inferno, he's been someone who's had a very good amount of impact for Envy, and I think it's going to be interesting watching him heading into this next game.
It's true, right? And Six is actually one of those players that, as himself as well, he did a lot previously when he was back playing with Kenny, because this is the thing, he was able to sort of calm Kenny down in a lot of situations. You could see, you know, there was a great friendship that unfolded without them that allowed them to work so well as a duo. And that's kind of what you need from someone that is in that supporting role. To be able to get on with him so well and it bring everything down to more of a situated level is going to be good, right? Coming into this new lineup of EnVyUs as well, as you said, you know, he's kind of had like a passive heritage. He's been given Kenny's AWP, so he's kind of got that sentimental factor to try and drive him. But he's been living up to it. He's been playing very effectively in a lot of these matchups, doing his role. I think that's kind of the thing as well that people were looking at with Sixer. You need to understand that he's been performing his role fantastically. In terms of just how he's been playing, he might not have insane standout results every match, but honestly, when you look at it on paper and throughout a lot of the demos, when you go and look back, Sixer does not really fall short of what he's designed to do. In that team, he does it very well. He sets a lot of players up, and that's why it's been working quite nicely. And then, as you said to everyone else, starting to step up individually, back onto form, that's the difference maker. Scream being able to return to sort of just being that headshot machine. You need to be able to let him loose, right? It's like a Beyblade. You rev him up, just let him go, and hope he kills something.
Yeah, perfect analogy. Yeah, I mean, Beyblade Scream. Yeah, that couldn't have put it better myself. Yeah, I mean, you know, on Inferno as well, the thing is when you do look at it, the gradual kind of path of progression that we've seen from Envy has been something that I've really kind of loved watching unfold. They haven't played it that much, but when they came into it, we saw them have a very poor performance up against Na'Vi. Things didn't go too well. Then they play up against HR, who, you know, were a team that I brought up earlier, kind of that bridging the gap team between T2 and T1. That went through to overtime, 17-19, still in favor of HR, but Envy, you know, had fixed a lot of their issues that we saw them have against Na'Vi, and then just over a week ago, we saw them then beat VP on Inferno. So, I mean, it's only been 3 games. It's only been a matter of weeks as well. But we've seen such a crazy amount of improvement on their performance from them across the board. And, you know, RPK being one of the players who's really, you know, trying to haul everyone across. Whereas, you know, normally you think you'd have to look at the, you know, Scream being the player on the team, you know, the one name that everyone kind of fears. But no, RPK has kind of been the Dark Knight, and it's just been pulling everyone else through. At least that's what we saw in their game against VP. Once again, Sixer on the AWP having a very good performance. I think it's going to be a very interesting one, Inferno especially.
It's true. It's a good map to sort of set the scene here as well. More so, when you look at it, this is more sort of a benchmark map, I'd say, to look sort of what Kinguin can potentially do against EnVyUs going into this. You know, as the first map, it's not really too favourable to Kinguin. We haven't seen the best results from them, but they might be able to bring something to the table. I'm hoping just because of the situation they're in, they're really going to bring their A game here. They need to try and reinvent themselves in some way. Because, honestly, when you look at it, right, at the bottom of the pack already, it's kind of looking like it's starting to go too far for them. It's, you know, it's very much slipped away. There's potential they can try and climb back up, but it's like climbing a greasy pole, right? Like, you can get a couple of hands on there, but you're always going to be sliding. You just need to try and slow yourself down. Maybe get like a, you know, if you have long arms, it might help, I guess. But, you know, it's just a struggle.
Or very wide, dry feet. Would dryness help? I imagine it would.
Maybe. If you're quite moist, you might slip easier.
Yeah.
It's true. But whilst we wait for the teams to sort themselves out, we are going to slip away briefly. I'm over here. And then we'll be coming back when we can jump in with the action. We will just be heading over to a short break. Stick around though, guys. Go and grab yourself something to drink, leave yourself up a little bit, and we'll be back in with the action.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, PaySafeCard, Legion by Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around after that brief break, but it looks like things have started to sort themselves out. We're jumping in shortly. So Harry, slipping our way back through, transition over there.
Yep.
It's looking good, right? I mean, we kind of spoke quite heavily about both sides. Let's break it more down sort of in terms of the map pool now. We look at the first map, obviously it's going to be Inferno, but later on tonight is going to be that Cobblestone matchup.
Yeah.
This is the one that's kind of the big feat, really, right?
Yeah, I mean, Cobble's very interesting. Kinguin, it's one that they kind of like. Their best map is probably Overpass, but Cobble isn't one that they're too shy to playing, and it's one they played already up against a lot of these Tier 1 teams, and we've actually seen them have some wins against a couple of the teams that are currently in Pro League, or at least on that kind of similar level. And it was also the one that they beat LDLC on, which was the game that actually allowed them to make their way up into the Pro League in the first place, and that was a 16-2 scoreline. So, I mean, they have had a very good time of things. That said, they have lost up against some very, very small teams, lesser known in some smaller leagues, teams such as Outlaws, Spirit, and Encore. Which, I mean, some people won't have heard of, some people will. It just kind of depends what level of CS you are watching. When it comes to the Tier 1 teams, we've seen them have close games, which is a very good sign from them, at least. It's one that you can tell they're somewhat at home at. And when you kind of flip the table around, you see EnVy, it's one that they're not too great on. Their only win has been up against G2 during this season of EPL. So that was, the French super team in which they did come into it and beat them. So yeah, that's going to be coming up later on tonight. I feel like we can address that, though, when it does come underway, as the game is about to begin.
It's all ready. Everyone is set, locked and loaded, ready to kick things off and bring the ruckus, as obviously Kinguin versus EnVyUs. Oh, baited you in there. Caught you out on that one, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's like April Fools, but a little bit later on the month.
There we go. We're just letting you know what could be. A little bit of teasing before we do get into this. It is tech pause right now. We had a little bit of a, we had a couple of issues beforehand, but I imagine they're going to get fixed. So, at least
quite nice, though.
Yeah, no, this is a nice bit of scenery. Here we have the Polish over in the CT spawn in their natural habitat. Just
having a talk.
It's beautiful watching them like this. It's very rare you get to get this close and see them out in the wild.
It's true. I mean, most of them now, they're either in zoos or they've been taken away. It's quite rare to be able to get this up close in these sort of planes. You can see one of them. It looks like a young one on the left, Harry.
Yeah, no, it does. And you can see the mother and father desperately looking for food and protection for their child. It is a truly beautiful spectacle that we should all appreciate a little bit more.
I wonder if we can see the French as well. Obviously, sometimes they're there they are. Oh, that's on the second cam. Now these are also quite rare. You can see they like to live more near the waterside, like damper.
They're a little more nomadic. They travel around, and like you say, they live near the water. That, of course, is a source of life.
It's true. That's often the the causes of these battles between the Polish and the French. Obviously, the fighting over that water is something that both of these ecosystems need to survive.
Nature is just a beautiful thing, and I couldn't be happier that you're here to appreciate this with me.
Oh, it's true. It's always good to see. The French here looking a bit more limber, looking like they're doing some kind of communication.
Well, they're ready for war. They mean business. And as we we have a number of cameras set up within the arena, all motion triggered, so we will be not short on the action. This, of course, is where we have camera 3 set up.
Over by the meerkat enclosure, I believe. Not too much going on. They've set up shop, it seems. Classic move, really. But yeah, what is on the menu there? As we have a little bit of a zoom closer in. Have you got your glasses on, Harry?
I'm going to go ahead and get them on. So I
pop those on, mate, and have a look if you can.
I'll give this a read. Hang on.
Is that activated almonds? What is that?
I think it's something with toffee. If it looks like it. Oh wait, and I think there's corn.
Is that?
Oh wait, there's something with tomato, Nutella tomato. I think it said.
It might have said crepe. I'm not certain.
Maybe
we could have seen crepe.
Does sound nicer than Nutella tomato, but yeah. So hopefully the technical war is going to be resolved sooner rather than later, as we do just enjoy these flybys of the map.
Yeah, not too long now. Around probably 60 seconds before we jump back in with the action, where it will be exciting to see these two teams finally kick off. Obviously, Kinguin versus EnVyUs. So I had a bit of a joke around, but things will be getting serious very shortly. And this is an important matchup as well. EnVyUs, the potential to really skyrocket their way up those standings if they come through on a 2-0 victory. Kinguin going to be wanting to slow them down here, obviously coming in as the underdogs.
Yeah, I mean, EnVyUs, they have a lot to gain, Whereas Kinguin really, I mean, they're already in the relegation spot. As you said, even if they win this, they're still going to be down at the bottom of the board. So it's important that they do, but for Kinguin, it's a mere stepping stone to potentially more success.
Yeah.
Whereas Envy, you know, it's for them, it would just be going from strength to strength. They'd move up from the middle into the top 4 potentially if they pick both of these up. So there's a lot on the line for both of these teams. It is vital that they go ahead and get it. And there we go. That was the coach connecting and subsequently dying. But yeah, I feel like we committed to the nature joke a little too much, and we just had to keep going.
It's true. We're locked in there.
Oh, and here we go. The freeze time pause has been cancelled, and that means the pistol round finally going to get underway, albeit a little bit later than we both expected. And now, for real this time, we're going to be getting into the pistol round.
The games begin. We will be kicking things off. You can see XMS will be going for one flashbang and a smoke. The rest of his teammates going for the armor buy, of course. Scream, he does have that P250 out there, so we're seeing if he can pop off some heads close range. Furlan will go for the initial peek, though. Harry pops out towards mid. A small bit of information, just a tidbit, but nothing too much, as he does start to fall back for the meantime.
Yeah, right now EnVyUs taking things slowly. You can see the other players towards the bottom of Banana, but it's actually Sixer with the bomb, joined by XMS, making their way over towards Apps to try and spot some success over towards this A site. And currently, well, there are 3 players here to try and hold them back and stop exactly that. And actually, it really looks like Mo's going to be rotating off of that B site to rejoin the rest of his teammates over here towards A, playing the floating role in CT, already expecting this aggression. And it is well read by Team Kinguin.
Ready and waiting. They are going to be bending, but no signs of breaking just yet. Rallen up close and personal, though. He will be that first point of contact. They try and flood their way out. Can he take them down? Connection. A couple of body shots going his way, but no real frags. Furlan will kick it off in the end, though. Takes down Scream. Sixer and XMS start to respond. Mouse comes in with one of his own. They're going blow for blow right now, but it finally starts to look good for EnVyUs as they begin to execute the opposition. RPK goes down, though, and it's just Happy on 1 HP and Sixer left on 40. They are got themselves some afterplants, so can they hold this?
Yeah, Crossfire is going to be set up, but it's not ideal. And actually, Master be trying to make his way on down. Mihu's there as well, rotating around, and he's spotted out by Sixer, who tries to chain these shots in, but he can't quite connect. Saying that, down goes Mihu, and it is all on Maz. 1v2. Bomb's ticking away. He's got to be quick onto the site, and Happy going to take his head clean off. The Crossfire there are going to be worth its weight in gold, as it does allow EnVyUs to secure that 2v2 hold. The retake couldn't come in from Kinguin, and ultimately, that does mean they secured themselves the pistol round. They're going to be trying to pick up the anti-ecos now. We can see SMGs, just a plethora of them. UMPs, a couple of Mac Daddies as well in the form of Scream, Happy, and Sixer. As they take a little bit of a gamble, going to be going 3 Mac 10s. Kinguin, however, don't force buy all in all behind this. So actually, those Mac 10s going to be able to farm up a nice bit of cash.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely golden from the stars of the line. They can just tear their way through, much like this. Sixer towards mid will find the opening frag back on towards Sparrow. The push comes in there, but Furlan, hiding by quad, will be able to get an opener of his own. Does execute Scream, bringing it back into a little bit more of a manageable situation, but you can't imagine they're going to achieve too much. Miku is on Speedway, but now he is down and out. XMS with a fantastic little headshot coming through. These SMGs are picking up all the frags so easily as well. This is just a great cash builder of a round for EnVyUs. Just how they want it to go. Obviously, you do lose Scream, but that's actually not too bad overall.
Yeah, they make a lot of money, keeping 4 players alive as well, even when they go for that SMG buy. Them mostly Mac 10s as well, UMPs, very little invested from them, and a lot of money gained. I imagine we're going to see Scream actually just going to stick with the P250 as no one opts to upgrade just yet, still keeping these SMGs to continue mopping up cash. And well, Rad's going to be trying to slam dunk down mid, and oh, okay, not going to be taking up basketball anytime soon. Does do some damage on a Happy, but ultimately not enough, as the bomb now making its way up through Banana. 3 players here with a 4th coming on round in the form of Sixer. There are, however, 4 players for Kinguin stacked up on this B site. And EnVy haven't gone B yet, so they've just gone for the gamble here. And it might pay off, as now the bomb's making its way on in. They've got a player on CT, it's going to be smoked off. RPK does find the first on the Sparrow, but now picking up the top. Going to try and line this up, and oh, he misses a lot of shots. It's going to be Mihu to get 2 with this USP. Looking for a third, and RPK missing shots left and right. Finally finds the frag. It is all on Rallen. 1v3. Bomb isn't down just yet, but they've got full control of the site.
This peak round, though, finds the first man out. Will take down Happy, but there's the response frag in the end. Sixer to find the kill. Rack up the last bit of cash, the final few dribs to work their way through. That's all 3 of the rounds secured by EnVyUs off the back of pistol round win, as you would expect. The AK buys now come into effect as well. The Kalashnikovs have been shipped. Seems like Sixer is opting to stick with a Mac 10 though. Going to ride his way throughout into this round. No real reason to invest into that AWP just yet on the T side if he did want to work towards that. And you can see RPK as well sticking with the UMP, a weapon that still does do a lot of damage into these 4x rounds. Team Kinguin though, investment galore all across the board. Everyone will go for those M4xs. No AWPs on the prowl though. All out aggression towards mid it seems though. They'll be able to smoke off, quad push their way through. The arch smoke does come in, but it's a little bit too late. Sixer, he's allowed to just glide his way through like an acrobat, find the opening kill, but finally the trade starts to come back into effect. Furlan, complete control as he finds these easy kills.
Yeah, now the push down Banana. RPK is going to be here to shut this down. Smoke will be there, so that's going to render him null and void. And ultimately, right now we see Kinguin in the driving seat. Bomb's going to be down over there towards A. Over by Arch. Scream is within earshot, but still has a lot of frags left to find before he can collect this bomb. And Sparrow's just honing his sights, watching it. Now, I don't know if they know Scream's there just yet, and actually he's going to be able to pick that bomb up. Now looking to just fade away, and it might get spotted in from Speedway, but for the time being, he's been allowed to escape. So they do have the bomb, and okay, Scream going to take a head clean off. Down goes Sparrow. It's into a 3-on-3. Scream, the beast, could be just waking up here. And actually, as it starts to rear its ugly head now, making its way down through short, spots out another foul, and going to bite the dust back into a 2-on-2 as the trade does come through. RPK going to be the first to go down for Envy, but still, bomb will get planted. Mihu, the only player with an earshot, trying to do what he can to deny this. Does do some damage downrange on a Happy, but ultimately just falls on back. Waits somehow to rotate on round. Now they're going to try and retake together. Both players in towards Pit. Scream peeks out. His head could be more than visible, but he's still doing a lot of damage. Finds himself a third and a fourth. There's Scream. Okay. This is why they call him the headshot machine.
It's true. This is what we were talking about as well. That individual prowess, the factor behind EnVyUs, there is Scream. He's an absolute machine by name and lives for that in terms of how he displays it as well in game. Rips his way through. Fantastic run comes out. A quad kill for him. Headshots galore. And that resets Kinguin as well. They finally had enough cash to play with. They invest heavily into that one, but all-out domination comes their way. Now left with just a couple of measly pistol buys as well. Sure, they've got the Deagles and the CZs. They didn't find that much success with them last time, though. We did see one kill coming out over towards the A-bomb site, but that was about it. EnVyUs as well, they're going to play it smart. They know they have the range advantage. Situate yourself further back, hold those angles, wait for the peaks to come to you. You don't need to overextend and potentially give your life away for nothing.
Yeah, Mao's going to do the exact opposite, actually taking Happy down now. Relinquishes back into the site, into its relative safety. And does get spotted out by RPK jumping up on top of the boxes. But luckily enough, he's going to have Mihu there just to lay down covering fire. And actually he's going to lay down a little bit more than that as he lays down the lore. RPK going to taste the full brunt of that Deagle round. Will be going down. 5-on-3 ensues, and that bomb still over towards A. Sixer and XMS. Trying to guard this. And actually, Scream wants to try and equalize this out over towards B. He's determined to pick this up, but Mihu peeks out with the Deagle. Going to do that much more damage. And now Scream going to look to fall on back. XMS and Sixer with the bomb. The dynamic duo over towards this A site. Trying to lock it down, but there's 3 players here to deny this.
They do have these angles in play. Up close and personal, they will be able to catch them off guard if they can actually get the information early. Rowland, unfortunately, has been sniffed out. They've located him and taken him down as well. Now the onslaught comes through. They push upon the site, trying to overwhelm everyone there as they explode their way out. But the pistols reign supreme somehow. Kinguin actually pick it up. The CZs overpower them. Sparrow with a headshot as well with that Deagle. And they pick up a round they didn't have a chance in. They had no stake into that. All of a sudden, though, they get invigorated. They close it down. And this really puts them in such a good spot as well. The AWP can be brought up over on Sparrow. This is going to be crazy now. This gives them so much to work with here.
Yeah, they shouldn't have picked that one up. Sparrow is going to have the AWP in hand, as you say, and he's already going to be taking that. Looks like over towards Apps. Probably going to be peeking out and actually going to just opt to take the aggression. Right now, as Bomb is working its way up towards Apps, it's going to be a good read. As you can see, it's into XMS and Sixer once again. The 2 tasks for trying to get this bomb down, making their way towards Apps, and Sparrow is positioned diligently to shut this down. Aggression on towards Banana elsewhere is Mouse and Mihu both going to try and force the issue. Will have to fall on back. And that's because Envy, they're not going to give up Banana control just yet. Now Sparrow, this is where he's going to have to come into play. They go for the peak and he just finds that first. Down goes Sixer, now going to fall on back, secures the opening kill, gets the man advantage, and now just retreats into the safety of Pit.
so critical as well. You can see they wanted to go for more of a fast play, try and respond with a very aggressive hit over towards the A-bomb site early, try and take that balcony control. It's instantly been responded to. They've slowed them down, they've had to readjust now, focusing their assets over towards Quad and Arch though, hoping they can try and slip their way through. Scream as well going to be setting up with that smoke that will fly over, allowing them to block up a couple of lines of sight here as they go for the timed face, but Furlan does one better. He uses his own initiative, pushes his way into apartments, finds the opening kill. Sparrow another with the AWP until he finally gets picked off by RPK that starts to rain death all over the place, comes in with the headshots. Scream also back on form, will connect another one, takes down Rallon. The bomb has been planted. Does he spot out the man close by though? Unfortunately not. Miku, too fast and too furious, will be able to swipe him down with that M4. Defuse comes through as well, and Kinguin unfortunately keep these rounds going. EnVyUs, that's going to come back to bite them.
Yeah, now the bomb plant could justify forcing up behind these couple of players that have enough money. I mean, Six has got so much, he can actually afford to drop the AWP over or go for an AK drop. And, you know, with that much money in the bank, we are going to be seeing a couple of these players definitely force buy down to at least $2,000 anyway, and that does look to be the case. Tech9's in armor across the board, and actually Happy's going to have himself an AK, so they go for a bit of a quasi-buy, a little bit risky, trying to make this pay off. Well, let's see if it does. I mean, Kinguin, they have got 2 consecutively. EnVyUs are going to try and do the damage, keep that money low, and try to take them down a notch before they can get too much. And Sixer already going aggressive, rolling going to peek out wide as they line up for him. Scream going to help out, drop Sixer out the equation, and then he's going to fall himself into a 2-on-5, courtesy of Scream, Happy, and RPK. The 2 players left alive. Bombs down over towards mid, out in the open as well. They've already rotated a player around. 4 players now over towards A, just watching for the push out through mid. And RPK, well, he's all on his lonesome over towards B, dueling eternally against Mouse.
Now his apartment right now as he slips his way over towards Boiler. Just going to be peeking out, trying to spot these angles, hoping that Kinguin might throw away their lead a little bit, try and go for an information play or something to allow EnVyUs to at least get a frag on the board. Happy, though. He realizes he has to make all the moves. Does spot out Sparrow. Does some damage, but it's not enough. Sparrow was too quick. Will swipe him down. RPK as well. Finally peeks, but does not believe his eyes when he sees Mouse in front of him, ready to rip into him with that Kalashnikov. And EnVyUs do fall. That is another round for Kinguin now. 3 on the trot. They're looking good, but the buy will come back into effect. EnVyUs had money to play with. The only man that will actually be skimping his way through is going to be Happy. He went for the AK buy into the previous round. He'll just have a Tech9 to play with. A weapon that still can be damaging, though, if they push into your up-close and personal safety zone. That's where he's going to be trying to fight back at that point. Let's see what EnVyUs can bring to the table here. Sparrow with the initial peek over towards mid. Will he spot anyone out? Does see a head. Very close, Harry, but just off to the left.
Yeah, it does get denied the opening frag, and now we can see Happy overstaying his welcome a little bit mid. Does peek on out, but luckily enough for him, the immediate threat that is Sparrow has actually decided to fall on back, and looks like he's going to make his way over towards the B site. Perhaps I know something we don't. It looks like they might be switching out Sparrow with me, who is, you know, looking to make his way over here towards this A site. Everyone over towards Apps, with the exception of RPK, who looks to make his way up through the bottom of mid, watching the aggression down Banana early on. And you can already see, because of where Sparrow is with the AWP now, they've actually been able to rotate Mouse around. As a result, there's 4 players over here towards A. And Envy, they're going to be walking into a stack if they go into this without getting the proper information. And as they make their way out mid, little do they know it, there are 4 players here to hold back the tide that is EnVyUs.
A lot of map control has been taken by that EnVyUs side there. They've been able to encroach their way heavily into what is owned by the side of Kinguin. Rallon, though, he's been at that forefront multiple times. He is getting the information, but look at this. They have tried to back off a little bit. It seems to have been some kind of a lampoon going on as they slip their way over back towards B, but Sparrow is there. He has the ankle cover. The AWP is in play. He's going to spot them out, but he misses the critical opener. He needed to connect that to try and slow them down at least. A rotate has to come through as well. Miles quick on his toes as he repositions over, but it's all been an elaborate ruse once again. They switch things up, they muddle it up, and they take their play towards the A-bomb site. Can they actually find the openers, though, as they flood their way free? Miku goes for the first face, but unfortunately loses his head. Scream will overpower him. Another kill comes in, but this time it's on the CT side as Rallon and Furlan start to connect their bullets. Rallon, another kill going his way before RPK starts to respond. He responds as hugely as he finds those 2 kills. Very easy. So much prowess on display there. The bomb can go down as well. It's a good situation to be in for the side of EnVyUs.
Yeah, Scream is tagged down low. Sparrow and Mouse both making their way on round. Sparrow coming in from mid with the AWP, has a lot of angles to check here. The only downside is no one's actually pushed up over towards Apps. Instead, it's RPK watching the initial push around the corner. He's just going to look away at the wrong time. As a result, Sparrow finds that first. It's all on Scream. He's going to get 1. Now going to get a second.
Oh.
Okay, Sparrow going to beat Scream at his own game. Takes his head off. And that's going to be Kinguin to find themselves a 4th round. 4-4. They do win out that 2-on-2 retake thanks to the clutch coming in from Sparrow, who gets both of the necessary frags in order for them to come out on top. They find themselves the equalizing round, and now they look to try and take even more. The money's going to be building up over on the CT side. Not EnVyUs, while they've gone all in. Very little money left. Means that a bomb plant and a round win would be crucial into this one.
They really need to try and step things up here coming into this. It has to be a difference maker now. They can't allow these easy rounds to just slip away from them. All-out aggression is in the display, though. They're taking control towards top second mid now, slipping through. Once again, they want to try and burst their way out through Arch, try and hit the A-bomb site very easily. Furlan is there to respond, though. Molotov goes down, but he's now finally as well that XMS had pushed in. His teammate in the rear can find the kill. They try and take that Abs control. Happy peeking out over by balcony whilst his teammates do work on the ground. Furlan will be eliminated. Mouse has to rotate over as well to try and aid them. But this A-bomb site is taking a very heavy hit.
Yeah, but the bomb did go down very early on, and as a result, Kinguin, they've rotated everyone round over here towards A because they saw the bomb got dropped down over towards middle. And as a result, it's going to make getting into this A site a hell of a lot harder. Out peeks out Maz, down goes Sixer. He's looking for a little bit more, but instead it's Scream to trade things out with another headshot there. Not looking to ruin that percentage anytime soon. 3-on-3 ensues. Raleigh going to be peeking out from short, and he's just a thorn in their side right now. Going to get himself a second, falling on back. Scream will falter. No trade in sight just yet from RPK, saying that he's going to get it. The order of the day, going to get both actually. Give him an inch, and he'll take a mile as he finds himself with the necessary entries to secure this A site. It's all on Mihu. 1v2. Happy going to be getting that bomb down, and Mihu over towards Arch now, peeking on out. There is a smoke allowing this presence for the time being. RPK going to try and peek around it, but he will pay for that with his life. It's all on Happy. 1v1. Kinguin looking to try and pull this back from the realms of defeat, and Mihu's going to do just that. Gets both the necessary frags, and will be able to defuse that bomb. Meaning Kinguin, they find themselves with a 1-round lead, and EnVyUs going to be on the back foot.
This is crazy now. Really great stuff being on display from Kinguin. This is what they need to try and bring to the table here as well. So many rounds strung together at this point. 5 rounds back to back. EnVyUs. They looked good when they came into it early on. We saw them picking up that pistol round, and then a damaged economy that was weakened. It was stunted on the side of Kinguin. They had no answer to respond. Into the first buy round, they slipped. They made mistakes, and it allowed EnVyUs to actually lock it down. But since then, it's been a completely different story. Kinguin, back to back since they won that force buy round. This is what we need to see from them as well. If they have any chance of picking this up, they need to have a very, very predominant performance over on that CT half. They can't have a lackluster one. And they're showing us that they do have the means to try and lock it down right now. Scream, though, with the information play early. Taking control of second mid, slipped his way in towards Apt. He's swanning around in there, checking the rooms, clearing the angles. But you can see Kinguin, they're looking a little bit more timid into this. They've had to back off very early on, falling into these further back angles, as they know that EnVyUs are playing aggressive into the early game.
Yeah, but still, I like what they're doing with Sparrow right now. They have him rotating back over towards B early on and watch out for any sort of rush. And then if they don't hear anything, he does reposition over towards Arch. Sometimes we see him get swapped out with Mihu, but EnVy, they're going to be making their way out in towards mid. Trying to seize control of Boiler. Scream going to be lining up this smoke to allow safe passage out towards the Arch side. Going to pop flash himself through. Doesn't capitalize on it just yet. Instead, going to make Sparrow wait for it. Playing with his food. And they're committed to this A site once again. I mean, Bomb's very far in. They can still rotate round. 50 seconds left. And as Ralin finds that first, it wouldn't surprise me if we perhaps see them instead double back in through mid. XMS pushing on up. And the Scream finds those frags. Never mind. He's gained so much presence over towards short. Just lines them up, knocks them down. RPK to get the next. And this A site in the blink of an eye going to be crawling with EnVyUs. And now all of a sudden, Mouse and Mihu, they find themselves locked in this 2v4. They just want to fall on back. Don't want to risk going for this money over on the side of Kinguin. Whilst it has been given a lot of chance to build up, they have had a couple of rounds with only having 1 or 2 players survive, so it's not going to be great. Saving these 2 M4s really dampens the cost into the next round. As we can see, the money's very unequal. Sparrow's got plenty. Mouse is going to have a nice bit, but Furlan and Ralin, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, so saving up these 2 M4s is going to be a necessity if they want to buy up into the next round. EnVyUs, they will find themselves their equalizer at 5-5 as they bite straight back.
That's the thing. Even though they've been picking up rounds, they've been losing so many members every one that, as you said, they're going to need to try and hold on to these weapons to give them anything really to play with. It has to rely on Mouse and Miku sort of working their way through into these later rounds as well, as there still is going to be a very, very stunted economy across the board. They have been able to get the AWP out over on Sparrow, though, and distribute things to a fairly decent factor. It's only really going to be Furlan that's taking a bit of a hit. Meanwhile, over on the EnVyUs camp, everyone is onto the teeth. They are looking good. But this is the thing. We've only seen them take that aggression towards the A-bomb site. It's been looking good round and round out. The only round we actually saw them take that B play was when they first lost at anti-eco, where it really didn't go their way. It all went sour. They found such an easy leak in towards the A-bomb site through apartments. They know how to overpower their way through balcony. They can take quad control very effectively. And Kinguin, they need to try and switch things up. You can see now as well, they're not playing as further back. They have actually taken the aggression a little bit more forward. Sparrow watching a very cheeky angle with the AWP, hoping to see if they are going to try and take that apps control. He will dispatch them if they take the fight through Boiler if he's quick enough. But this is the thing. Look at the aggressive stance they've gone for. Early mid-smoke goes in. You hold quad and arch very up close and personal. It's different, and it could be what they need to actually slow them down.
Oh, Sparrow did spot someone there peeking on out. He knows there's at least one player towards apps. There's actually 3. Quite gauging how bad this is. And actually, now they're going to be falling on back. They go ahead and grab the bomb. Still have a player to push out through apps, but at this point, with how they've decided to go towards mid, it looks like they're making their way up, trying to grab control of short once again. And that's exactly what they're going to get. No one here to challenge them from Boiler. They get it, and now it looks like they're still within the realms where they could fall on back. I mean, they've got 45 seconds left to play around with. They're not dedicated to this A site as much as they are normally, and now I'm going to be seeing that bomb tossed over to Happy, who is making his way back over towards Banana. The rest of the team exerting pressure out towards Long, and now they're going to sneak up through Arch on towards Speedway. Sparrow's got to rotate back around in towards CD to watch for this as they split in towards the B site. And okay, they're just going to jump across a conga line of death, crossing through the scope of Sparrow, but he can't capitalize. Instead, he does go down. 6 are going to find that, but the trade does come in from Furlan. Back into a 4-on-4. But this B site, it's going to be tricky to hold down. Mihu gets one. He's got to rely on his teammate, though. Maz can't do anything. Mihu does get a second. Swiftly traded out by RPK as we launch back into a 2-on-2. Bomb's going to go down, planted for Banana. But with neither Scream or RPK in position to deal with that, it's going to be raw aim to carry them through. Scream's going to be the man to provide just that. Down goes Furlan. It's all on Ralin to retake this site.
Very hard feat for the man. Does have 2 flashbangs to play with. Unfortunately, no kit. That's the important factor, really. That's what he needed to give him some kind of lifeline into this round. It's going to be a struggle. So many angles to clear as well in this 1 versus 2. He can't just swan his way on. He's hoping to see if they're going to peak his time. He's getting so close to being gone, hoping that RPK or someone will face into his crosshair, allow him to at least do some damage to the economy of EnVyUs. But his calls will not be answered. Forced to fall back now. EnVyUs will get that 6th round on the board. Very, very nicely done as they work their way through. Saving both of those rifles as well. RPK, 2 HP, but he does stay alive. Fly's coming back into effect now as well. Kinguin, absolutely broken in terms of economy. It's just going to be Ralin. He's the only one that was able to hold on to his M4. Keep his hands on that rifle. The all-important one it is as well, because he needs to use it into this round. He has to do something here. If Kinguin don't want to let this one slip for free, he's got to be the answer to their prayers.
Yeah, they want to at least make it costly. And, well, they are going to be going for the aggression towards Banana early on. 3 players here, and actually Ralin peeking out, finds that first. Swiftly traded out, though, by Sixer and RPK as they lock down the aggression in towards top mid. Already the M4 going to be dropped. It only finds 1 solitary frag. And with where the rest of Team Kinguin are, they're not in a great position to try and pick it up. Instead, they're going to be at the full mercy of RPK. It's just like a shooting gallery for him. But okay, all headshots. Scream Jr. apparently over on the side of EnVyUs, as he nets those eco frags to pad those stats, try to overtake Scream in the headshot percentage department, and most importantly, they only lose 1 player in a round that could have been potentially very costly.
Yeah, the armor-piercing shell has been loaded into the RPK tank there as he just tears his way through. That's huge. This is what you want to see as well. Vintage RPK, rolling back the yours towards, his source days. We need more of this. He was an absolute powerhouse back then, and he's really been living up to that older name now as we work our way through. It's just the lifeline that EnVyUs needs to try and tear their way back into this. They need to have a dominant performance here. Really leave Kinguin nothing to play with over on their T-half. The first frag will go their way as well. XMS will be able to take down Furlan. Sixer is low though. Furlan trying to respond, goes for a pot shot, fires towards Arch to ward them off, hoping he can slow them down. And he's done just that. Flashbangs will go over. They're going to use this to their advantage, hoping that they still think it will be a commit towards the A-bomb site. They've left the welcome mat down over at B. They're allowed to come in and wipe their dirty feet all over the place if they have the confidence to take the fight.
Yeah, and then what we're seeing now, this EnVyUs, they're capitalizing on the fact that they know Kinguin are very wary of this A play. They've left Sparrow on his own over towards B, and as the smoke and flash rain on in, he will be forced out the site. It's going to be a 4-on-5, and already it's looking like they're going to elect to save this one. That B site's going to crumble. They rotate everyone over towards A. They've got the Thorn in their side, which is going to be happy, just lurking in the backlines, preventing any sort of efficient rotate in through mid. And so they're just going to save up all 4 rifles, go at it again in the next round. That's going to allow EnVy, though, to pick themselves up an 8th. They can potentially keep all 5 players alive, but their money's doing A-OK. And as a matter of fact, it's going to be Kinguin who feel the brunt of the economy much worse than them. So we might even see Happy elect to go hunting in towards this A site. And, well, I mean, yeah, what we're seeing now is EnVyUs, they've had a bit of a reputation, as you said, for hitting that A site time and time again. They worked it out. By the time Kinguin finally adapted, it was a very good read from Happy. He instantly switched things up. And instead, they elect to go in through CT, split on towards that B site. And since then, it's added an air of ambiguity behind the plays that we've seen EnVyUs elect to go for. And it's kind of left Kinguin doubting themselves a little bit. I mean, you saw in that round, they completely rotate everyone off B with the exception of Sparrow. He gets caught kind of mid-rotate in towards CT, and that's where they get punished. It's a singular smoke, and that B site is all theirs, ripe for the taking. And already, they're going to find themselves 3 rounds ahead.
That's the thing, it's so easy at that point. There's so many seeds of doubt planted in the mind of Kinguin. They basically have to over-rotate because that B site has only been hit 1 time prior to this. It's always been aggression towards their bomb sites, but lots of mind games there as well. They expected that it'd be the same old story, but it wasn't. It was a trick. It was an elaborate ruse. It has gone the way that EnVyUs wanted it to. Now back into the action once again, though. Kinguin, not the best buy. 2 SMGs on display. Obviously, they can pack a punch, though, especially when you have the drop on the opposition. Rylan takes down 1, but unfortunately, XMS will be able to catch him as he wanted to run out there with a tail between his legs. Sparrow with the response frag, though, peeks in, says hello as he beats down XMX. Will be able to eliminate him very easily. Repositioning as well. He's taking the aggression to his advantage, eliminates RPK, but doesn't realize that Happy has been able to brush through undetected. He slipped into the backline now. This man could really start to cause a riot if he can find the frags. Connects the headshot back on towards Furlan as well. This is good. He's starting to tear them apart from the backline. Miku, though, will spot him out and hopes to do just the same. He slowed them down. Sparrow is there. Happy finds the kill, though. It has not gone the way that Kinguin wanted it to. Leaves him to 2 versus 2, but it's such high stakes.
Yeah, bomb hasn't gone down just yet. It's going to be on the back of Sixer, who's trying to cross to the site, but Sparrow's got the angle locked down. Going to be tossing that across to Happy, who now can get the bomb planted. Sparrow and Mouse going to find themselves 2-on-2. Bomb will go down. The crossfire set up between pit and site. And actually, Sparrow are going to be the first to fall. It is all on Mouse. 1 versus 2 coming in from Arch. They know exactly where he is. And with only an 8 to his name, he's just going to fall on back. Elect to save the M4 into the last round of the half. That'll be EnVyUs to find themselves a 9th. Kinguin trailing behind on their CT side. They've got to try and pick this up. They need themselves a 6th if they want to have that kind of commandeering, not commandeering, but a strong chance into the second half at least. I mean, I would already be kind of leaning the way of Envy. It's essential that they try and get as many rounds as they can. And letting this one slip through the net, despite having 2 very convincing kills coming in from Sparrow with the AWP, it's a bit of an issue for them now. EnVyUs do just seem to have them figured out.
Yeah, that's the thing. EnVyUs, they've got their number. They know where they're hiding. They know how to play against them, and they're playing smart. That's the thing. Early, we just saw brute force. That was how they were able to overpower them. Now it's a lot more mind games. They're countering it. But Kinguin, they're going to try a different approach. They're going to try and switch things up, get the double AWP set up in play. Maybe the extra bit of leverage, the extra AWP can allow them to at least do something. They might be able to get a couple of early frags on the board and turn the tide. But it's all ifs and buts at this point. So let's see if they will actually find the frags. Aggression, once again, the same old story. EnVyUs, they tiptoe their way up second mid. Slow aggression through apps. The smokes go over. They take that mid control a little bit into the mid round. And that's where Kinguin need to utilize this double AWP setup. Sparrow, situated over by Arch. Previous rounds, he's been able to find those opening kills. He needs to do it again this time. If he can get that first pick on the board, Harry, that's where it really slows everything down and throws a huge fall on the side of EnVyUs.
Yeah, Rowling going to be peeking on out, though. Actually, the player to try and kickstart this will falter. XMS finds himself an opener, and as though they didn't need any more advantages, they get handed one on a silver platter. They're going to take that man advantage in their stride. And Miku over towards Banana. Him being here at least does allow him to have that extra player over towards A. So they still find themselves with 3 on this A site, which is kind of the standard amount of players you would expect to see. Bomb still making its way on in. They're not showing any signs of rotating back just yet. Furlan in pit. As on site with the crossfire set up, and Sparrow to watch the aggression out through mid. Here we go, push coming out into Raps. Mao's going to get the first. XMS will fall. They have to watch out for Furlan. The crossfire's going to be set up, and it does work out brilliantly as Furlan and Mao, they shut things down. 5 frags between the 2 of them, and that'll be that 9-6. And that is going to be the end of the first half. We'll be back after a very quick break.
everyone, welcome back. An exciting first half. It was interesting, obviously, EnVyUs. A good opener, it looked good, then things went south for them. Kinguin started to lock it down, and the same could be said for them as well. They knew how to counter it, right? Because EnVyUs playing a very similar style, instantly they bounce back, and then it just turns to the EnVyUs show towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what we kind of see is EnVyUs getting the feel for things early on. It looked like, you know, they try to figure out the setup of Kinguin. Kinguin very, very quick to respond to that and then net themselves their couple in a row. They actually end up taking the lead at one point in time. And then EnVyUs, they go ahead and pound straight back. Don't want to allow them to get too far ahead on that CT side. And all in all, I think it was a very good anti-stratting on their behalf. I mean, they were able to figure things out down to a T. And once the kind of that seed of doubt was planted, as you said, it created a lot of issues from then on in. The repercussions felt over a number of rounds, not just kind of the main turning point, which is when we saw EnVyUs go for that split in through CT, down speedway in towards the B site. And from that point on, you could just see there was a lot of doubt in what Kinguin were doing. They didn't look as confident. They weren't, you know, putting Sparrow over towards B early on as they had been previously. Something that was working out for them. It allowed them to, you know, very much neglect that B site a lot more. They could only have one player there and get away with it. But that wasn't the case towards the end. They had to constantly keep two over towards that B site and just gamble. That's what it felt like. 50-50 whether or not they'd even pick the round up. But we will be heading into the second half. The pistol round are going to be underway.
A big one as well as EnVyUs. They have a chance now to really set themselves up, get the stars aligned, and lock down so many rounds if they can pick up this opener. Kinguin, though, going to take the slow approach. They're going to group up. Seem like they're going to be going for a contact play. What could be working their way for apartments, then jump back through. They actually find the opening frags, though. Mouse going to be able to take down RPK. This is huge. They can swarm their way on towards the bomb site. Now, Scream is in position, but he doesn't realize from the sidelines it is going to be Furlan to start to beat them down. 2 easy frags going his way, and he is hungry for more as well. Takes the aggression out, and there's Happy. Trying to cool off the situation, brings in 1 kill over on towards Rallen. Will slow them down a little bit whilst his teammate repositions as well. XMX and Happy, the duo, are in position. But can they retake this? It's going to be a hard fight. They do connect the headshots though. Miku will be eliminated.
Yeah, both coming in from the same angle though. Does mean that Kinguin only have 1 spot to watch. And with time being whittled down, it's going to be a real issue. Okay, XMS just going to be connecting these quick shots left and right. It's all on Happy. 1v2 as the trade does come through. Bomb still ticking away, and he's going to be very, very short on time. Got to quickly execute both these players. Going to get 1 as Furlan offers himself up to Happy. But then there's Sparrow to trade things out. 7-9. Kinguin, they pick themselves up the pistol. And a lot of respect given the way of EnVyUs. 4 rifles in play and a UMP on Rallen.
UMP there. Can be very effective as well. Obviously into this round, he's going to be the cash builder. He's the one they want to use more of a scouting role. Send him in, allow him to get those opening frags on the board. Potentially, he can rack up so much cash with this weapon. You imagine though, Kinguin are going to play this slow, set themselves up in a nice, rather distant situation, find the frags if EnVyUs go for an aggressive play, which they are doing. They're pushing their way through. Miku and Miles will connect the headshots as well. RPK taking down Sixer to follow boot. There's XMS as well, going to get railed down and executed by the side of Team Kinguin. Scream though, let's fight back a little bit. 2 250 frags actually come his way. What it looks like now should be the end. An easy frag should be going the way of Kinguin. They lock it down the end. They do lose 2 players though. Not the worst round for the side of EnVyUs, but Kinguin 1 round away. If they lock this down, they will be on a 9-9 scoreline and set themselves up to try and really give it their all in this T-half.
Now, Sparrow going to be picking up the Mac 10 to try and make some money. Seeing as, you know, EnVyUs did force it in the last round, they're going to have very little into this. USPs for the most part across the board. Scream going to be picking up a P250, which I do feel like is more than justified, seeing as the damage we saw him deal in that previous round. And actually 4 players over towards this B site. A solo over towards 8. Bomb of Happy, and now actually the peak going to be coming on in. Sparrow looking to get a little bit curious as he waits with bated breath on the corner. Now peeking on out. Doesn't spot anyone right away, but he knows that EnVyUs are going to have a couple of players posted up here. 6 going to take the peak. Sparrow with the Mac 10, chiming in with 1. Railing Death down range. Going to be spotted out at the full mercy of these USPs. RPK does get that one at least. Furlan going to burn in the fire a bit. A little bit startled, don't worry. It's hot, it's firing, it's not very nice to the touch. He's going to be tagged down low from RPK. He's looking to try and get himself a second with this USP. Instead, a different member of Kinguin going to be peeking out around the corner. Okay, Mao's going to go down as well. Damage done with the USPs. It's all unhappy 1v3. And if he can find that frag onto the low HP Furlan, then damage they have done with a very, very weak buy nonetheless.
Yeah, they've done good as they work their way through this round. Good stuff. They will have that 9-9 scoreline secured as well, and Happy hoping to do something at least. I mean, he's not really invested anything to this round. He has the taser, so potential if someone wants to push out and exit their way through into CT spawn. He might actually catch them off guard. Unlikely, but worth him running this risk because he's not really too bothered. He hasn't invested anything into it and can try and cause some havoc here. We'll get the opening frag. Waiting for Miku to try and take the fight. Will peek with a taser, but unfortunately unable to actually connect the shot there on towards Miku. There it is. Things have been tied up now. 9-9 is going to be the scoreline. This is where it gets real. The buys will be coming out. Kinguin, if they are able to keep this going, they're really going to start to get some fire behind them. They have those AKs, they have potential, but this is where they've been having issues. Their T side's been where they've been struggling throughout the past few matchups of Pro League, but is this where they break the chain?
Let's find out. 5 rifles in play, plenty of utility from them early on, and actually, Sixer on this AWP. Now, this is something we spoke about in the pre-game a lot, the impact he's been able to have. 3 players over towards Banana, but it's not the AWP to find the first. Instead, it is XMS. Down goes Sparrow. No trade frag just yet. That Molotov going to isolate Ferlin, who now starts to push on up. Smoke going to go down. It is in deep, and that's going to allow both MyUs and Ferlin to be peeking out past it. They pop flash around the corner, but they don't capitalize on it just yet due to the molly to hold them back. Ralin and Mihu, meanwhile, over here towards A. Bombs just dropped very neutrally over towards mid. They haven't quite made up their mind just yet, and when you look at how EnVy are playing this, they've got that floating player in CT in the form of Happy. He can go very, very quickly between B or A accordingly, and it's a confident way of playing. EnVy not short on confidence just yet. And it does look like he's thinking about perhaps rejoining his comrade over towards A, but no, he does make the right decision. Stays in CT, and it's a good read because the bomb looks like it's going to be making its way up Banana. Sixer with the AWP in hand to find the first. Ferlin bites the dust, and already Kinguin, they've slowed down a little bit. They're not sure as they want to go for this 3-on-5.
Nades start to rain in towards that B-bomb site. They're in position as well. Regroup, assert themselves as a unit before they go for this aggressive attack, this explosion on towards that site. There is still only 2 men there, and it seems like there might be 1 shortly. They're doubting themselves a little bit, starting to back off, thinking that this is going to be a late round A execute, but it will be the B play. The nades roll in. This is the time. This is where either side needs to go absolutely huge. The push comes in. XMS up close and personal. We'll hear a couple of audio cues. The peek comes through, and he will be able to get the opening frag. Takes down Miku, but MyUs with the retaliation finds the kill back towards him. Hungry for more as well. Just in the nick of time, they get the bomb planted, and now they've got themselves in some good situations, but they're outnumbered vastly. Sure, they have the superior angle, but they can't really take the fight. They peek, and unfortunately for Ralin, Sixer had the AWP, had the angle covered, and will take him down. MyUs trapped at the back of site, cowering in a corner. He'd have to do something crazy to pick this round up.
Now, got to ace it if they want to secure this one. MyUs going to be picking on out, just playing around the pillar. Gets the first, but now they know where he is, and he's going to be at the full mercy of Scream and Happy as they rail shots. Downwind, he will fall. And that is EnVy to find themselves a 10th. They reach double digits. They keep 3 players alive. And actually, Beefy is going to be a little bit close, but no, Scream will be able to get that one. Like I say, they find themselves now with double digits. An AWP saved. Plenty of money building up in their bank accounts as well. Still, Kinguin not going to be short on funds themselves as a result of picking up those first 3. Ralin, the player who was on the SMGs, will have plenty of money in his bank account. And while the buy down going to be coming on in, they are going to have another shot at redemption here to try and take EnVyUs down a peg before they can amount a scary CT side economy.
Yeah, they need to try and sand them down. Don't let that buffer get too out of hand, because that's the scary factor. If EnVyUs keep linking these rounds together, they're just going to get stronger and stronger. They need to break that economy early whilst it's still young, whilst it's brittle. The opening frags do actually go their way. MyUs with the peak towards the top Banana will be able to execute XMS. Does eliminate him and leaves him in a bit more of a manageable situation. You can see EnVyUs, though, they want to try and retaliate here. They're using aggression. They make their approach through. They won't actually go overly confident. Scream realizes this is probably a bit of a risky play, starts to back off. They already have a 1-man deficit. They don't want to make it any larger. Sixer, though, he is going to take the fight. He has the confidence behind him to go for the peak round. Hearing his way in towards Banana, trying to clear these angles. Will he spot out Furlan here? So close to being able to execute the man as he just waits, blissfully unaware of his location.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing Kinguin rotate a couple of players around over towards Banana, looking like it is going to be the starting question. And Sparrow's been able to sneak on by in through CT. Happy is here. I don't think they're aware of this player over towards CT. Sparrow in the back line. Down goes Happy. This B site going to be right for the taking as no one's here. Scream and RPK find themselves alone over towards A. And they're just going to look to hold on to the AKs. Bomb will go down. 5 players alive for Kinguin. Means they're going to be walking away from this round with a smile on their faces. Plenty of money now being able to build up. Ralin, the only player in the firing line as he is over towards this A site and is in danger of running into Scream, someone that I wouldn't want to be walking into on my own. But RPK isn't in a great place to trade, and actually he's going to bypass Scream completely. Could pounce on out to RPK, who I believe thinks Apps is clear, because that's where Scream was. They just miss each other, though, and if he does peek on out, RPK we get the full brunt of that, but instead they're just going to miss each other. If they can hold on to these AKs, it's going to be worth its weight in gold, but no, Rolling going to land that quick, fancy flick onto Scream. Down he goes. It's all on RPK. 1v5, looking to try and save the AK to the next round. 10-10 is Kinguin. They find themselves the equalizer, and most importantly, they find themselves with a round where they're able to build up a hell of a lot of money.
A huge round coming out now. Look at the three players as well as they worked their way through. I mean, you can just see how easy some of these flicks were. Kinguin, this is what we're going to see as well. You know, we spoke about this in the pregame and how these players individually, the start of the season, everyone looked good. They looked back on form, what they needed to be bringing to the table, and then it just kind of stunted. It slowed down. They looked unoiled. They didn't look ready for the action, but now they look like they've been recommissioned. They're looking good. Everyone is fired up. You can see some of the flicks they've been displaying tonight have been unreal. Incredible prowess in terms of actual own individual strength, and this is what they need as well. Up against this side of EnVyUs, they have a good amount of team structure. Kinguin is the older team here out of the two. They've got more in their playbook. So if they can step up individually, that's when surely they should be closing things down. And they're starting to prove that as well. Now the aggression comes in though, encroaching once again towards that A-bomb site into the early round. A lot more nade usage though this time around from Kinguin. They're really trying to draw out any potential cheeky angles in play from EnVyUs. Scream, you can see he loves to take this aggressive approach. He will push in towards apartments, try and make you peek into him. He will always take the fight towards you. Furlan just holding towards bottom banana as well. You can see everyone get a little bit hectic as they start to push down, as they have realized it's most likely going to be an A play. A mass rotate going over. Everyone's situated towards A now, just in the nick of time as well, as the T start to take that arch control. The kills do come in though. Sparrow connects the frag over towards Scream. RPK fires back. Mal's one of his own. But what can they do? These pistols in close range combat.
Through the smoke, Happy going to emerge, and he will be swiftly dealt with by Furlan. Mal's going to find Sixer on the site, and it is all on XMS, who wants to try and make this a little bit more costly if he can. Potentially grab an AK and just fade away with. Furlan's going to be up close, though, the player to try and shut this down. Spots at XMS over towards Archie, takes the peek, does find the dink. The pistols aren't that overpowered, my friend. Doesn't quite get the kill. So that will be an 11-10 scoreline. Kinguin once again going to find themselves in the lead. And this first map a lot closer than I think we thought it would be.
It's true. We thought coming into this to be more of a whitewash towards the side of EnVyUs. You know, we expected they're going to come in dominantly, really lock it down. This was more of what we expected to be a benchmark matchup, just to see, you know, where sort of Kinguin stood overall now up against this side. But this is looking like round 12 being locked down as EnVyUs. Nothing to play with into this one. They are broken, Harry.
Yeah, I mean, they've got very little. 2 USPs, not looking good. Scream going to have the deagle, and he's looking to try and make it work as he does go aggressive over towards Apps. No one here to trade, though. In fact, he's over towards this A site alone. He's the Guardian of A. And he does pick up that first frag on a roll, and now going to try and pick up the AK. No one's there to trade it out, so he does escape, not only with his life, but with a $2,700 7.62 rifle, which could be utilized to devastating effectiveness on a player like Scream. And well, in response, Kinguin, they're going to try and make the right move. They sent everyone up through Banana. They've already lost Raul into the aggression on A. As a result, they have no information what's going on over towards there. So instead, they just say, you know what, we know that Banana's looking pretty empty. Let's try B, because we have no clue where EnVyUs are over towards that A site.
Pigs coming in though. They try and pick at the same time, use this crossfire setup. Look at this. They've painted up the side of Kinguin. Everyone is low HP, but no real frags coming through. And that's the important factor. They needed to slow down that push to allow their teammates to retake the site. Instead, though, Sixer arrives on the scene, wants to cause a stir, but gets headshot in the back by Sparrow. Executes in there. That's not too fantastic, as they're left in such a horrible spot now as well. Happy, though, has an AK in his hands. He scavenged the one that fell off Rallen. If he can hold on to this Kalashnikov, it would be a great feat for them, allow them to have a bit more to play with into the following round, but he's hoping to get some exits as Pharrell wants to do one better than just save the weapon. But no one's going to be pushing his way just yet. They're holding their ground, playing it smart on the side of Kinguin. Seems like they should just exit together now, Banana, you'd imagine.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to make that their priority. They already had Mihu go down there to check it was clear, and he, as a result, you know, he found out it was. He's going to instead be going in through CT, knowing that's where these players are. Happy will go down, and that was the gun that Scream was able to get tossed over to Happy, which he actually loses as a result of that aggression in towards CT spawn. So they lose the one rifle they had. The whole idea being that it wasn't something they necessarily needed because the money's already good. They just had it on Happy to try and do the damage. But the second he doesn't find anyone, it just goes down, you know, to the kind of the lurk coming in from Mihu to shut down that exact play. That's when it becomes not worth it. Scream only saves the armor and the deagle out of that round, but it will be the buy coming in nonetheless. XMS going to be relegated down to a FAMAS. Could have potentially been on an AK had they saved it up. Already Mouse are going to be at the full brunt of utility usage over towards Banana. Tag down low. Sparrow not looking too healthy either. So he gets some early damage himself. And now he'll be peeking on out, trying to take the duel on Banana for the first time in a long time. Envy actually exerting pressure here early on. But that could open up the door for Kinguin just to charge in towards this B site.
Early aggression on display as well. This has been really the key for Kinguin. They like to use this to their strength. Early fight come through, find those opening kills on the board, work your way into it this time. And they take the play towards top Banana, just setting things up, making their presence known, going for a couple of pot shots here and there, but now they've backed off. EnVyUs as well, they're going to be questionable about this, wondering what was actually going on there with that early round play. They reposition towards the A-bomb site. They have an abundance of utility. They need to use this. 4 smokes in their possession. They have those in their arsenal. Use them. Block off those lines of sight. Completely eliminate Sixer, but instead they go for the fight. Sparrow will take the peek into an angle that Sixer can hold so well. They don't clear it as well. RPK peeks out. Will find one frag back on towards Furlan until he's traded out by Mouse. Already, 2 players have been eliminated from the side of Kinguin. This is not a great start into the round. They needed to try and step things up. Miku as well. Another headshot goes his way until Sixer can retaliate, leaving it all on the man himself. Miku, he's on the bomb site. The bomb will be planted, Harry. But can he find this free K?
I mean, he's gone above and beyond this before. Let's see if he can clutch this out. 1v3, Bomb going to go down. He's actually going to try and take the aggression over towards Arch, clearing out the angle, but he's got to be worried about the player in Library as he walks into the waiting arms of Happy. Down he goes. He tries to go aggressive there, try to switch up his position, remain unpredictable so he wouldn't know where he was. But he doesn't anticipate Happy playing that passively over towards Library. He can hear the players rotating in through short. He knows that's where at least 2 of them are, but he doesn't know where the 3rd is. And I think he imagined that they were going to go for the retake split in through short and apps. Didn't anticipate that player still being so far back in Library. So as a result, does go down. Doesn't find anything in the 1v3, but they do get the bomb down. There's plenty of money already, so buying will not be a problem here for Team Kinguin.
It's true indeed. They had an abundance of cash left in their buffer, so that can be utilised for this. Sparrow still on the AWP as well. We need to see that, as he can be a powerhouse. The only thing, taking that very defensive angle that is going to complement Sixer didn't work out too well. The aggression comes through though. Look at this, XMS, as he takes the fight, swans his way down Banana. An easy kill to kick it off as he connects the headshot back on towards Furlan. Already a 1-man deficit once again. In the battle of attrition, EnVyUs, they are always getting that opening frag. It's helped them so many rounds in a row now, as they can just play for trades from that point onwards. It's been fantastic for them. Kinguin, they need to be able to respond, and they really need to cause a ruckus here. Sparrow is going to try and take that fight once again towards Arch. This time, though, Sixer has been forced to fall back. But it seems like it has caused a bit of a stalemate here. The push coming in from Quad, though. Miku goes for the peek out, but cannot do the damage. Sixer, the reposition proves so critical as he eliminates another man.
Now, Bomb's actually rotated around towards Banana. Sparrow is going to be here along with Mouse. Ralin left over towards A as a bit of a lurk. Now rejoining the rest of his teammates over in towards this B site. XMS is here alone, looking to try and hold this back. 1v3 essentially over towards this B site, but with Sixer rotating around, he's already found one on the back of the AWP. He's proved to be an essential tool of success in order to find these openers. And well, here we go. Push going to be coming on in. Sixer watching the cross. He does know there's a player over towards Barbecue. Now going to be going aggressive. And over towards Church, and XMS gets forced out courtesy of the Molotov, and he's going to burn in the flames. Does find one there before he perishes. And now Sixer trying to capitalize on his forward position. Ralin watching the angle as Sixer just crab walking around, has stopped for the time being, waiting for the rest of his teammates to get in a position. They find themselves 4-2, so there's no point giving this up, and especially as Sparrow finds RPK. Now Sixer rounds the corner to try and trade that out, but Ralin says no. Going to put it into a 2-on-2. Sparrow will fall to Scream, who apparently obstacles just don't exist to him. Finds a headshot there through the plywood. It's all on Ralin. 1v2 to try and clutch this out. He spots out one. Knows it Scream's there as well, but they just double peek. Happy and Scream lock it down. They find EnVyUs their 12th as they clutch out what was looking like it could have been a very easy retake for EnVyUs. Quickly becomes a lot more hazy and up in the air. It was all thanks to that one shot from Scream to kill Sparrow over towards the car. That ultimately, actually means that they are able to scavenge that round and pull it back from the brink of defeat.
It's true, completely changed the pace of the round and really is the difference maker. And overall as well, it's interesting to see now both teams once again tied up neck and neck. 12-12 across the board. It is scary to think we've got back to this. And the factor is as well, Sparrow, the cash simply will not allow him to get that AWP out. He's on the AK. Honestly, this could be a blessing in disguise though, as he's not done too much with the weapon on that T side. He's been taking aggressive angles, sure, but he's never been finding them. He's been getting swatted down time in, time out. With him back on the AK, they can play a little bit more Wolf-like, squad up, use their unit together, overpower EnVyUs with an aggressive play towards A. Use your smokes, but once again, Sparrow this time peeks with an AK towards Sixer, was trying to get that map control, instantly beaten over and over. Sixer has had so much arch control, and this completely ruins everything that Kinguin want to try and throw into the round.
Yeah, I mean, they can't get control of Arch. Now they've got to be constantly worried about the push coming in from XMS on Banana. That's why they've got Furl in there. And I mean, with 4 players over towards this A site, something EnVyUs have been doing time and time again, making their way into it's going to be next to impossible. They're already going to find themselves in an equal situation at best coming in towards this. And Scream and Pit, the crossfire setup from RPK, he will go down. Happy, meanwhile, on the flank is able to find 1. Sixer just lining them up, knocking them down. Going to get 2, and he's going to get the 3rd as well as he completes it. 4 in total, the hat-trick in on that initial push, and that's going to be EnVyUs to find themselves in the lead, 12-13. I mean, Sixer, we were saying how his AWPing is something that is a bit of a spectacle on this map, and right now, I mean, he's not disappointing.
It's true, that's the thing as well, right? And you look at it, sure, Sixer has 7 frags on the board. This is what we said. He's not someone that is going to present you with these crazy star performances every game, but he plays his role. If they didn't have this effective AWP control over towards Arch, so many of these rounds would have been completely dismantled. He's getting the first pick. I think essentially for the past 4 rounds in a row, he's been able to get the first pick, 9 times out of 10. And that's what you need as well, because Kinguin, when they have that 1-man disadvantage, they don't know how to play out the rounds effectively from that point onwards. EnVyUs as well, you can just play for trades, hold crossfires, fall back, play for trades, and you win that round every time. And that's why it's been so effective. So sure, he might not having the the best showing individually frag-wise, but he's playing his role fantastically. And this is what we need to see as well. Aggression this time around towards bottom Banana. They're going to try and take the fight. Usually XMS has been able to find this frag. This time, they actually force him out of position using their nades.
Yeah, now he is here alone, but quick on the rotate. It's going to be happy to come on round, looking to reinforce. XMS just playing it passively. Isn't even in the position on Banana to even cause a threat to these guys, as now they only just round the corner. Smoke's going to go down. It's going to delay them that much more, and already you can see that Scream's looking poised to rotate on round as well, as he now makes his way in towards Speedway. Perhaps just going to be playing a floating role in CT, but now they just decide to go for the gamble. They put 3 players over here towards this B site, and it is a fantastic read as Kinguin, they're stacked up. All their eggs into one basket. 5 players on Banana, ready and waiting to execute towards A, and as the smokes and flashes rain on in, Happy and XMS have the crossfire, Screaming and peeking on out now over towards the coffins, as XMS going to be able to find the first. The trade looking up through from Happy, who peeks out wide, going to get 2. Happy and Scream both dealt with. Sixer and RPK find themselves 2-on-2, and rotating in from the A site does mean that bomb's already going to be down.
Around though, trying to hold towards Garden. Seems like he's trying to hear out for audio cues if he can go in for a potential backstab. Meanwhile, we see a boost going out. The flashbang over the smoke. RPK, though, trying to get the better of the opponents, but Mal's, it just set him up to find the first kill. Sixer, he's on the scene, he has the ult, but realizes it's too risky for him to try and pick this one up. Must fall back. We'll peek in for a little bit more information towards the end. They're hoping they're going to push into his crosshair. Maybe he finds this kill on towards Rallen, but that is the best case scenario at this point. The round is as good as done. Kinguin will tie up the scoreline 13-13. Sixer spots out the man, but no chance to actually find the frag. The timing as well is so awkward. He will get away with his life in the end, though, so that's a good factor. Needed to try and hold on to that wall.
And you know, one thing that you spoke about, the bromance between Sixer and Kenny, if you actually look at the orb, that I don't know if it's actually Kenny's orb, but it's the magic stick, it's the Dragon Lore, it's got the signature on. Yeah, I thought, yeah, it's like the Karate Kid, but with Kenny and Sixer.
Without
it's
Will
beautiful.
Smith.
Yeah,
it's not the bad version. It's the good one.
13-13 though. Anyway, as Sixer is going to have himself the orb still to play around with, peeking out over in towards mid, looking to try and find something early on. And no one's going to be presenting themselves just yet around the corner. Now going to worry about second mid as he hears that nade go off. He's aware of the presence here, and it's something that we did see Kinguin do early on. So now he's going to turn his attention towards second mid and actually fall on back. Now once again, we've got the situation where XMS is solo over towards that B site. 4 players for EnVyUs over here towards A. And as Kinguin actually send 4 of their players up towards mid and grab control of apps, it looks like they're going to think about executing out towards this A site. Unfortunate for them, that's where both of these weapons are for EnVyUs.
It's true. They've played into their hands. They were one step ahead of them here if they do actually make their play on towards the A-bomb side, but it seems like it's being a bit of a ruse. The nades are raining in, sure, but they're not doing too much in terms of actual manpower. They leave Miku as a late round lurk. He is just going to be creating a bit of a distraction, firing a couple of pot shots, throwing those flashbangs in with the aid of his teammates. The real play seems to be occurring towards that B-bomb site, sending a duo in, seeing if they can work as a unit, find those opening frags. XMS is there, has the back of his teammate. If they can work their way in, get these opening kills, then They'll probably go for this committal towards the bomb site, but Scream is rotating over as well. They now have 3 men situated there. It is going to be a stack site where they want to try and overpower them, just using their raw arsenal. They slip their way through. XMS is up close and personal, finds the headshot. It's actually Scream to do the damage with a deagle. Happy in the elevated angle as well. We'll find one, but Furlan can trade it back. There's another Furlan. This is huge so far, but RPK in position. Can he slay with the pistol? Though that is going to be the question. Sixer is up close as well. He can't use the AWP in this range. Has to stick with his sidearm as he hopes, waiting for the smoke to dissipate, but Furlan spots him out first. Look at this as well now. 10 seconds left on the board. They have to find the kill. It's the only way they pick this up. RPK tries to take them down, but it wasn't meant to be. Furlan unleashes a flurry of bullets, a hailstorm into him with that AK-47. They take the lead once more. They get their 14th round.
Yeah, that was the ace from Furlan in order to close that out. That's going to firmly cement him up at the top of the board. 25 frags right now. Very, very close to potentially hitting that 30 bomb. And, well, it is going to be Envy. With a buy on the cards, at least. FAMAS is in play. UMP up on 6. They're not going to be ideal. And actually, 3 players over towards B. A complete change in the strategy. And it looks like they wanted to go aggressive. That Molotov from Furlan going to hold them back. Completely denies that early strategy. Smoke will go down at least to deny the aggression, and as a result, they can net themselves some control of Banana. XMS pushing on down. Now they're going to rotate a player over towards A. It's a good switch up. Change of pace coming out from them. XMS being here on Banana with the smoke down, going to deny any early aggression. They have no info as to what's going on. And Happy staying around over towards B a little bit longer than usual to try and trade out for XMS. Now going to rejoin his comrades over towards A. 4 players here, and as Kinguin make their way on up, they could be playing into the hands of EnVyUs here.
Frags do come through. RPK will kick it off, but there's Miku with the retaliation. Sperrick, one of his own as well. The wallbangs, he takes down Scream. Sixer though, look at this aggression. Starts to run rampant with the UMP as he brushes his way through everyone in front of him. XMS is close by as well. They didn't have the greatest buy into the round, but they've actually got a very good situation for them. Happy has the drop on the opposition if they make their commit towards the A bomb site, but they are backing off, repositioning, hoping they can slip their way in towards B. XMS has arrived on the scene just in the nick of time though. The smoke does go down to block off his line of sight. Is he going to go for a risky play here and push on his own? Most likely waits for the rotate of Happy. They have to play together. Happy is the key. He has the defuse kit here.
Yeah, they're both going to reconvene out towards Ruins now, trying to secure their site. 2-on-3. They are going to be the man disadvantage, but Sparrow's tagged down extremely low. And instead, they're going to elect to fall on back. Give this round up to Kinguin. That's going to be 15-13 as they arrive at match point. And as a result, Envy, well, they will have a little bit to buy down into the next. The 2 scavenged FAMAS is going to be worth their weight in gold. Looking to try and find the AKs they're able to drop over towards mid, so they do at least get them out of this. But still, I mean, saving's a little bit risky, especially when you consider the damage that was done to Sparrow.
It's scary. And the thing is as well, you look at that, potentially, right, they could have been able to pick that round up.
Yeah.
They might not know exactly how low Sparrow is, but they definitely would have been called that he has taken a bit of a, you know, a fair hit. Someone's given him a punch in the kidney. Not a great situation to be in. But this is the thing. If they went for that, the risk they run is if they lose the round anyway, coming into this affair, they have absolutely nothing in their arsenal. At least this time around, they have a fairly effective buy. They have something to work with. They basically had to play for overtime either way. As you know, they based that entire round just on ifs and buts, potentials. At least this is solid weaponry they have coming into this final round. But it's not the greatest buy at all. There's no AWP on Sixer, and it's been critical that he needs that weapon in his arsenal to slow down the side of Kinguin. XMS as well. Can he go for the aggressive style of play that he wants to play with a UMP?
No.
He can, but he can't find the frags.
Yeah, he's going to go down straight away. That's an early man advantage now for Kinguin, and already you can see out of desperation, Scream's going to go aggressive, but there's already players waiting in the wings to try and counteract this exact play. He's going to be pushing on out towards App. Sparrow, meanwhile, trying to take the peek in mid. Sixer is there, but this time not with the AWP in hand. Only going to have himself a UMP. Scream falls on back into the safety of the site. Rejoins RPK, and actually Happy's making his way down Banana. He could be the difference maker, the linchpin of this round. He can come in from behind and try and mop up a couple of frags over towards mid, but Furlan, well read, rotates back around over towards Banana to watch for the early aggression. While the rest of his team trying to make some presence over here towards A, and actually down goes Sparrow. Now just watching his comrade taken apart by that UMP. As it is going to be equalized back into a 4-on-4, but look at how much short control has been taken here by Kinguin. Completely unaware. EnVyUs now peeking on out, screaming to be the player to try and spot that. Is in danger of being dropped, and actually RPK up in the corner does get one, but it's going to be swiftly dealt with. It's Sixer on the flank, gets 2. Okay, the UMP going to be worth its weight in gold. It's all on Furlan. 1v2, bombs down out in the open. They don't want to take the peek, but Sixer has been able to get himself the AWP in hand. The weapon that he needs, the weapon he is such a prolific fragger with, that is
Really his home turf. 19 seconds left on the clock. Furlan hoping to do something. He has recovered the bomb. Needs to get it planted, though. They're not pushing into the site. They have to play together, but they have an abundance of utility. 2 flashbangs and a smoke. They've got a lot to work with. Hopefully, if they just play together here, but the peak comes out. Furlan, though, connects the headshot. The wallbang comes through. Hungry for more, and he does it. He picks up both the double kill, the triple overall. He will close it down. Kinguin somehow are going to tear their way through. They close down the first matchup. I mean, that's an amazing feat for them. Absolutely wild.
I think, you know, hats off to Furlan, who had a spectacular performance. I mean, he was firing on all cylinders throughout that, just doing phenomenally well. And that's something I really don't think that when you look at it, Envy really accounted for. I mean, coming into it, Sixer had a good performance on the AWP. You had a Scream was doing well as well, but he kind of fell off there towards the end, was struggling a hell of a lot. RPK had some great moments in the first half. Once again, fell a little bit silent over in the second. And I mean, Furlan, I was very surprised by how well he did. I mean, normally you kind of look over towards me to make the plays, but instead it just seemed to be the day of Furlan.
It's true, and it's crazy as well, right? Because past couple of days in the games we've seen from them, it seems like they've kind of been struggling a little bit. They've been trying to jump those hurdles and stumbling on their T-half. This time around, crazy, back on form. This is what we saw at the beginning of Pro League, where they had unprecedented T-halves in terms of how effective they can be with those AKs. Everyone was popping off. There were so many rounds that it looked like they weren't going to get it, purely because we saw Sixer being able to swat them down, always getting that opening frag on the board. And then EnVyUs played it smart. They play for trades. They wouldn't overextend. I mean, we saw in the first few rounds they actually lost, Scream would constantly take the fight towards opponents, sprint his way in, he'd trade, but then Kinguin would still be able to pick those rounds up because it favored them. The only difference maker was when Kinguin actually realized and switched things up towards the end there, how it went back in their favor. Because, you know, EnVyUs were smart. They adapted in the mid game, but towards the late game, they just had no answers, it seemed.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, even the XMS over towards B, right? They normally had 4 players on that A site, so you would have expected it to go their way with how often Kinguin actually made their way in towards A. But instead, I mean, it was the complete opposite. 4 players on that A site, and it just didn't work out for them. They didn't have good crossfires. You saw that Scream and RPK kept getting dropped on that push-up through short. That just wasn't working out at all. Whenever Kinguin did hit that B site, it was only XMS there, and they rotate happy round, you know, playing that lurk over towards CT. But ultimately, it just wasn't fast enough, and it didn't give them enough coverage of the site. No one was there to trade for XMS, so he goes down straight away, and that B site's just overrun with Polish players. And I mean, ultimately, that means that Kinguin, they're only picking up the first map.
It's true, and that's huge for them as well. They picked up that first map. I mean, when we looked at it, we were going, okay, you know, you look at this matchup on paper, EnVyUs, they should come in quite dominantly over on the side of Inferno. We expect them to be able to pick that one up, you know, with maybe sort of somewhere in the region of a 16-10 scoreline. We're thinking EnVyUs will lock it down. Then all of a sudden, Kinguin pick this one up. Now, going into the second map, that's going to be scary. Cobblestone, a map that they definitely have potential on, and potential for that 2-0 could be a very crazy feat, but we are going to have to wait and see if that is going to be the case. We're going to be going over to a short break before we come back in with Map 2. Don't go anywhere, as it's been a fabulous series so far, and we can only imagine more is to come.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Legion by Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.